internet, and welcome to our premiere episode of our new show, Doskvol's Dead. I am your host and your game master for the day, Savvy, and we're here to play Blades in the Dark. What have I done? Before we get started and I tell you a little bit about what the heck is going on here, a few scheduling and programming notes. As you can see by what I've just said and what's going on around me and the people who are here, this is a brand new show. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of people in the cast who have had to leave streaming and stuff, and we wish them all the best and everything as we send them off. But that also means that some of our shows are going away, which we're sad about, but we're more excited about the shows that are going to be replacing them. So our schedule, as far as like the times and everything that we're streaming, is going to stay the same, but just some of our shows are being replaced. So obviously we're going to be doing this on Sundays. We'll be having a new show coming up on Fridays as well, which we'll announce once it gets closer to time. And on Monday nights, we're going to be starting over. We're still playing Dungeons and Dragons, but we're going to be playing in the Strixhaven universe. So coming out on this for that as well. We'll have more information about those coming up in the next few weeks. We're starting this one today, and I'm very excited. Obviously there are some familiar faces around me. Most of this cast has remained the same, but we've got Alex now. Yay!
What have you done?
I don't know. Honestly, this is a full chaos group. And when we announce the cast for Monday, I think you'll all be very pleased with the level of chaos that's going to be going on there as well. I guess I could do that right now. We're going to start playing Strixhaven on Mondays in a show that we titled yesterday, and I cannot for the life of me remember what I called it because it's dumb. What do we call it? It's called The Queer Chronicles of the Strixhaven Quartet.
There it is.
And it's Magic College with a bunch of weirdos. Sid and Val are going to remain in the cast for that one. And we've got some new friends. Well, not some new friends, some old friends that are returning. Rob is going to be back playing with us, and our friend Rachel is going to be playing with us as well. So we're really excited about all of that, but that's enough about scheduling stuff. We'll miss our old shows, but we're extremely excited about the new stuff that we've got coming up, starting with this one. So I'm going to let my friends here around me introduce themselves, tell you who they are, where you can find them on the internet, and who they are playing today, starting with Sid.
Woo! Okay. Hi, I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid, almost exclusively talking about all the shenanigans I do play TTRPGs on the internet. Yeah, you can find me here several nights a week. I'm also over on twitch.tv/InfiniteRP and on twitch.tv/Critical Misses once a week each, but I'll talk about those later. Today, I'm playing... Well, I'm sorry, Savvy. I literally changed my my alias 2 minutes ago, so it's different than the overlay, and that's all on me. And I apologize.
That's okay. I can change it.
It's okay. I'm playing Brix, aka Barbara, and then she's the cutter, which means, well, sometimes I guess she cuts stuff, but mostly she hits it. Yeah.
I like it. Next up is Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex. I've somehow snuck my way onto the Sunday slot.
We don't know how he got here.
Yeah. I'm OMG. It's some guy on the internet's mostly here. Either Tuesdays running masks or playing in, well, we've got a new show in the works there too. It's just schedule changes all over the place, including, well, not Thursdays, that's fine, but then the Saturdays that I am here, I'll be running Pathfinder in 2 weeks. So we'll be starting the Extinction Curse with that. And now I'm here Sundays too, and then also Sundays over on LB's channel playing in the Masks game, which takes place after this. It suddenly sounds a lot busier, even though this is really the only new show that I'm part of anyway. In this show, I would be playing Logan, aka Spice, who is the Leech.
We're very excited about him now that we know what his voice sounds like. Who's next? LB. Hi, I'm LB Hack'em Up. You can find me at LB Hack'em Up on the Twitters and the Twitch, where, as Alex said, we'll be playing our Masks game tonight with a couple of the people from this show. I've stolen them, but you can find me on Monday nights on Indoor Adventures Show. Tuesday, I stream on my channel, and here for Tabletop Tuesdays, whatever we happen to be doing. I think this is a game week. And then on Fridays back on my channel. But tonight I'll be playing Jemma. She also goes by Volpe, and she is the slide. She is indeed. And last but certainly not least, Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Val. You can find, I was about to say you can find me at the internet at the Kraken's Crown. This is pretty much the only place I can be perceived right now though. I'm here Thursdays through Mondays doing stuff, lots of schedule changes. Friday's going to be changing up too, but we'll announce that in the future. Otherwise, we run Star Power on Saturdays, which is our Fate, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Jujutsu Kaisen inspired, leaning a lot more towards the Jujutsu Kaisen side of things. On Saturdays at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, and I think we'll have a session of that this coming Saturday. Barring any unforeseen incidents. That's it. I think that's all I've got going on right now. Tonight, I'm going to be playing Bron, aka Omen, who is the Hound.
Love it. I'm very excited about all of this. So we have a couple things that we have to do before we can get started, and I'm pulling up my notes for that as we speak. But we're playing Blades in the Dark, like I said at the beginning. Blades in the Dark is such a mood. Blades in the Dark is a cool game about criminals that I really enjoy and have never really had the chance to dive into. I've never run it. None of these people have ever played it, except for me and Val did a one-shot of it one time, a very long time ago on this channel. I think before some of you even existed on this channel. So we don't remember any of it. But it's cool. We have our fun group of scoundrels here and their crew. Somebody tell the class what your crew is named.
Val, would you like to do the honors as you came up with it?
Bone Voyage.
Say it right, though. We've
Bone
got a French
Voyage.
person in the group.
I'm going to be calling it Bone Voyage.
I'm also going to be calling it Bone Voyage. This is the story of Bone Voyage, the assassin crew. Do I regret letting them name themselves? Only a little bit. We've got a couple of crew building things that we need to finish up. Crew name was one of them, but you guys sort of knocked that one out of the park. So we did that. But before we get started, we've got some faction relationships to work out. So we're starting here with an assassin crew who in the city of Doskvol has their lair at the docks, which is pretty self-explanatory, and a hunting ground called Silkshore, which is across the water to the southwest of the docks. It is the artist community, among other things, and this crew is going to do some murders over there. But we have to figure out how you got to be able to do murders over there in the first place, because there are lots of factions in Blades in the Dark, and they are not keen on letting other people exist in their territory. So Silkshore, where this assassin crew is going to be do their hunting, is primarily run by a faction called the Gondoliers. They sound like exactly what they are. They are the folks who are in charge of ferrying people through the canals. There are tons of canals in Doskvol. Some places in the city are not accessible by street at all. Some just water. And Silkshore is one of those areas. So to be able to hunt in Silkshore, you either have to pay the gondoliers to allow you access, or not and have a bad relationship with them. Where do you think you all stand? The gondoliers sort of don't. I don't want to say they don't have a moral standing. That would sort of be on all the individual members of it. But they are primarily, they're like cabbies, but on the water. They ferry people where they need to go. They don't ask questions. They know an awful lot. So essentially, you can pay them, keep things neutral, pay them more, classifying them as helpful, or pay them nothing, and they will not like you and want to interfere with you.
We get as a crew 2 coins total for.
Yes, you have 2.
Okay, so if we pay them, we don't get any money for prepping.
If we pay them the neutral and just
Yeah.
paid them 1, we'd have 1 left.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I
To
think
keep things
paying
neutral.
them the 1 to start.
Okay. I'm gonna just add this down in the notes on the crew sheet for right now. Neutral. They don't hate you. They don't like you. They're not going to interfere, but they're not really going to help you out. All right. So you've got 1 coin. The other thing. Well, let's finish doing the faction stuff real quick, and then we can talk about the weird shit. So we got a couple of upgrades along the way. Some assassin rigging, helps you carry more gear, your boathouse, that kind of thing. And the thing about it is that you would never have gotten that stuff in a vacuum. So we're gonna have turned to 2 other factions that you would like to have an established relationship with. One of them that helped you get an upgrade, and you're going to have +1 with them. One of them that was harmed when you got an upgrade, and you're going to have -1 with them. It does not matter to me what these factions are. I'm just going to say we don't have to flesh it out a ton, but let's pick something that'll be interesting. So if you're looking at the book, you find the actual big list of the factions. 283 is where the factions are. There's a little description of a bunch of them. There's a lot of fun ones in here. You can pick one of the gangs, you can pick one of the churches, but somebody helped you out. Nothing serious, nothing major. Somebody helped you out getting one of these upgrades, and somebody does not like that you have them, or you took something from them to get it. Anything strike anybody? I'm gonna probably say stay away from the Hive and the Unseen, because those are like
Spooky.
they're like the big time. The 2 like really big time factions. They're probably the only factions that have a hold over all of Doskvol. So probably not where you want to start. But anything else? I mean, there's the cabbies. I mean, a lot of the gangs are in here, like the Crows, the Lamplighters, kind of stick to their own areas. So
you said 1 helped us with the upgrade and we're on good terms with them?
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be beneficial to make it be the dockers, and like they have actually allowed us to like that's why we have our base in the docks, because otherwise that's gonna get real messy and like always have to have the houseboat booby trapped if they're the ones that we are at odds with.
I agree. That was the first thing that jumped out at me.
All right, so the dockers, which is made up of dockhands, dock workers.
Yes, the hard-bitten laborers
kind of
who work the docks.
You will have +1 with them, meaning they are considered helpful to you. Basically, they like you, okay? They'll help you out as long as they're getting something from it. and it's not going to put them out. And they expect the same from you. If they come to you and they ask for help, as long as it's not putting you out, it's not a big deal. They expect you to help them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have pissed off the gray cloaks? Former blue coats, like the police force that
Oh yeah, the X
turned to crime.
I do like how for the blue coats it says, City Watch of Doskvol, tasked with upholding law, known as the meanest gang in the city, corrupt,
they're
violent,
terrible.
and cruel.
Yeah, the cops. This game is like, hey, cops, they all suck. They're all bad.
And these are like, I don't know if these cops are better or worse because they turned to crime. Like, are they more legit now that they're criminals?
Don't know.
That'll be interesting too, because I was thinking Bron is actually a former City Watch or inspector.
Ooh.
A former inspector?
One of the two, yeah.
Interesting. So the way the inspectors tend to not have close ties to the city, tend to be like foreign.
Oh yeah.
So they're
I did
appointed
read that.
directly by the Lord Governor to like investigate crimes and stuff, but they're specifically supposed to not have like any close ties to the city.
But close ties meaning like but they've probably they could be appointed and have lived in the city for a while. They just don't have close ties to the city. Because I know we were talking earlier about
Yeah, they
whether or
can.
not Bron had been living in the city for a while.
You'd have to have been appointed directly by the governor and then quit.
I mean, I would
That could
like
be
I
interesting.
think that'd be fun.
Okay, be a former inspector.
Yeah.
All right, so the Grey Cloaks are considered interfering. That's a negative one. They don't like you. They're not gonna like go out of their way or put themselves out to mess with you. But if you cross them, you can bet they're probably gonna stand in the way, and they expect you to do the same. They expect that out of you. Okay, that's your faction stuff. Good. So that's the main things that we needed, except for one other thing. So your assassin crew has this move, this special ability called Crow's Veil, which is due to hard-won experience or occult ritual, your activities are hidden from the notice of the Death Seeker crows, and you don't take extra heat when a killing is involved in the score. So, for a little bit of an intro to Doskvol lore, I suppose, within the city, there is, and this is all in a handout in Roll20 if you guys want to read it. It's under Law and Order, but there are sort of several different facets of the justice system. There's a group called the Spirit Wardens that aren't directly tied to Doskvol's justice system, only in the way that they don't answer to anyone on this list, not even the governor. The Spirit Wardens serve the Emperor directly. So that would be the Emperor of the entire Shattered Isles. They're not directly tied to the justice system, but they exist basically in every imperial city. They are completely anonymous. They wear creepy masks, and they hunt ghosts and make sure that corpses are disposed of properly. They watch over the Death Bell, which is a magical bell that is in the city that rings every time someone dies. When the death bell rings, it sends out Death Seeker crows, which are crows, literal crows, that fly out over the city and circle and circle closer and closer in until they locate the dead body. Every single time someone dies, with 100% accuracy. So, somehow, you four have managed to be veiled from the Death Seeker crows. How?
Is someone just really good with animals?
Also, this may not be enough, but we were talking before stream. So my guy is kind of an alchemist and has a signature formula that is a very stinky stink bomb, essentially. And what if we just always put it on a corpse and it like
Will not work.
Yeah,
Super
not
will
enough.
not work.
Yeah.
Nope. These are not just all regular birds.
What if we minority report this?
Uh-oh.
So, spoilers if you haven't seen Minority Report.
How
Oh my
old is
god, that movie is almost 20 years old. If you haven't seen it already, it's your friggin' fault. Anyway,
20? Didn't it come out in the 80s?
2002.
Minority
Minority
Report? It's got Tom Cruise in it.
No!
Was
An
that-
older Tom Cruise. All right, I'm looking this up now.
2002.
Yeah.
Yes, literally 20. Did I say 20 years ago?
20
I
years
said
ago,
20 years ago.
exactly. So in Minority Report, they get past the precog system by essentially masking like the murder with another murder.
Yeah.
What if essentially we come
If you haven't
up
watched
with...
Minority Report, it's a great movie.
Huh?
I said, by the way, if you haven't watched Minority Report, it's a great movie.
Yeah. So what if essentially because I know one, if Bron's coming from a background in law, maybe has some sort of like understanding or received some sort of training or saw some sort of intelligence on like how the system works, and then one of the smart people in our group, probably Logan, was able to come up with some sort of like substitute system, something that like masks the like it essentially triggers like the same like death. Maybe I don't know, like you use like a blood sample of the victim and then you put it into like a small animal that you murder somewhere else in the city, and it causes that to set off the bell or something. I don't know, something like that.
So using decoys.
Yeah, decoys. That's the word I was looking for. I would require a little bit more setup, but instead of just a magic button that we push and then we're like, no, the crows won't find us. That might be kind of fun.
Mhm. We could do. Is there magic?
Yep.
Yeah, we have talismans and stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It could
one of
be,
the options is a cult ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be something that, like, like a symbol that we put on ourselves, or like we found this random deep magic that just so happened, like we found the right combination and we have it on ourselves so that it blocks us from like a little bubble from it.
It's up to you guys if you want something a little more occult, or I mean, it's all occult.
Yeah.
Or if you want that sort of like work to go into the setup process, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to lean away from our habit in slaying, which was magic, solve everything.
So what if we somehow figured out, if we get the Deathseeker Crow blood and like synthesize that and inject some compound of it into ourselves, it does kind of what LB was saying of like hides us from them, because maybe they think, a crow's already found the corpse, they don't need to go find that one.
Oh,
Well,
I like that.
If you injected it
that's
into
dope.
you, it would hide you, wouldn't hide
Yeah.
the body.
Right.
What if
Do we then have to
get
inject it
essentially-
into?
Well, yeah, you just take what if you beforehand you have to capture one of the crows and then like do some sort of ritual with the crow on the corpse of the person that you've just killed.
Interesting.
Is this an all the time
Or just,
thing?
like,
Like
stake the
for
crow to the body.
even if one of us kills somebody out of nowhere, like that'll happen, or are we
It just says involved on a score.
on a score? Okay.
Yeah, you don't take extra heat when killing is involved on a score.
Yeah.
So
I imagine there has to be some sort of prep work that we do, because there's got to
Mm.
be some sort of
Yeah.
Yeah,
process.
because that would mean that if you like go rogue or you kill somebody that you didn't involve in the setup, that the bells would still ring.
Mhm.
I like the idea of like a small like ritual. So like we kill somebody. Okay, great. And then we've got to take this injection of the crows,
Something we had to prepare
whatever.
beforehand.
Yeah,
Mhm.
put it in there, say some words, and then get the fuck out.
Because that was my main thing, is kind of tapping into what
Yeah.
LB was asking the question about. Is like something that we had to do beforehand, so that way we don't just hand wave anytime we murder somebody.
Yeah.
Because I love
Yeah.
this mechanic.
We've
of
got
the
to
game,
prep for
Yeah.
and I'm
it.
planning on killing a lot of people. So I'd like
Okay. Yeah, so we'll flush that out as we go. But I think that's really interesting. Mark that off the list. Yeah, the rest of it can wait. Any questions
Till
before
we
we get
kill
started in earnest?
Mhm.
Okay. Then let's get started. Pull up my notes here. All right. Twilight breaks over Doskvol. The remnant shards of the shattered sun glowing a weak yellow behind the smog, like the last embers of a dying fire. The already crowded city fills with people ending their workday, wiping soot and sweat and salt from their faces as they make the trek home. Carriages pulled by large, hardy Akarosian goats line the narrow roads as the cabbies wait to be hailed by those who can shell out the coin. Alongside them, the gondoliers glide up and down the canals, singing folk songs in different languages and ferrying people to the districts that can't be reached by land. But just as the clock strikes honor, the first hour after twilight, the workday is just beginning for some, because when darkness falls, the underworld of Doskvol comes alive. It's the final day of Calavit, the second 60-day month of the official imperial calendar. That means it's Moontide, the holiday that falls on the last day of every month. Centuries ago, it honored some long-forgotten sky deity. Now it's just an excuse for everyone to go out after work and drink until they've forgotten where they are. Moontide is everyone's favorite day of the month, an escape from everyday life for some, a grand business opportunity for others, and a hunting ground stuffed with prey for the scoundrels of Doskvol. As the citizens prepare for the festivities in Ankayat Park, the largest open space in the city in Silkshore, we head northeast, across the water, one district over to the docks, where at the southernmost pier, a decommissioned steamboat quietly sits, rocking gently on the black water of the North Hook Channel. Unbeknownst to most, this old boat has been refitted as a home base for Doskvol's newest crew of killers. And I would like to know, on this last day of the month, in the first hour after twilight, what everyone would be doing. If you had the night off, you've been setting up your lair, you've been getting to know your new crew, or reacquainting yourselves with new teammates. What's everybody doing? Let's start with Barbara.
Barbara has already sequestered herself in whatever spaces. I'm assuming, do we have a place to stay in our home base, like
Mhm.
a room to kip out in? Yeah, she's already gone in there and is, as usual in her free time, just writing away.
Describe Barbara a little bit.
Barbara is big. She's about 6'2", about 250 pounds of just muscle. She's big lady, broad-shouldered, but kind of classy. She has very well coiffed hair, keeps everything clean and tidy, and likes to have a little bit of flair here and there. But yeah, overall, when people first meet Barbara, they just go, "Wow, that's a big lady."
That's fair. When Barbara's preparing for a job, What's that like? What does she get up to? Imagine for her it's a pretty simple process.
Yeah. I feel like she's just got a nice trunk at the end of her cot there, and she's probably got distracted, but has like laid out everything she might need already at the foot of her bed. You know, garrote, brass knuckles, probably a pistol, maybe another small blade she could keep like at her back, some armor maybe. And she's just laid it out, it's ready to go, but then got distracted and is just sitting on her bed writing.
Okay. Let's hear from someone else on the boat. Bron.
Okay. I think Bron is currently sitting on the deck, maybe sitting on a barrel or small crate or something, staring out into the fog rolling in over the waters. I'm imagining like turn of the century London kind of like heavy fog. Bron is fairly built, like kind of stocky, with wider set shoulders, currently wearing like a dark jacket with a hood or a cowl underneath it that is pulled up over his shaved bald head, with tattoos that you can see kind of peeking out from underneath the hood, geometric pattern of like these almost like dagger-like shapes that kind of fan out in like a mosaic pattern across his scalp. A few scars, fairly like wide and kind of sharp features. I think I described him as Batista-ish. And he's got a bottle of some sort of dark liquid, dark liquor that he is drinking as he's keeping an eye out over the waters towards the docks. And as the mist kind of swirls around, reaches a hand out, and then forming from the fog to his side is a dark, shaggy coated wolf or dog like creature, with a deep purple, almost blackish coat and stark, like almost glowing white eyes. He just scratches Helsing's head.
Because he's a good boy.
Because he's a good boy.
Okay. When Bron is getting ready for a job, what does that look like?
I think like this. He's done all the training. Like he was former law enforcement, has spent his time, like knows what he's doing. I think mostly uses that chance to like clear his head. Kind of going like full zen. It's usually like he's got the drink with him. He's not going to have a lot of it. It's just mostly like the taste and like the calming effect of it. Is he'll take like a few swigs of it, but mostly just a time for him to kind of go through like the plan in his head and just like piece by piece, very like meticulous with like the steps of whatever the operation is that we've prepared for.
Okay. As we step away from Bron on the deck of the steamboat, and let's hear from Logan.
So Logan is in whatever, like he probably claimed the cleanest, most or least rundown part of the boat as like his lab space, and so has like a few tables set up with alembics and I forget the other things you needed for alchemy and oblivion, but all those things is like messing with vials and liquids and stuff, and at this point is probably doing the final stages of preparation for whatever it is we use to get around the crows. But Logan is a little guy. He's like 5'2", shaved head, has big lab coat, which once upon a time was pristine and white, has since been stained and patched and still maintained, but not the clean that it once was. Has big old safety gloves. The coat goes up over the mouth and nose, has some kind of breathing apparatus within it, and has goggles on, and is just doing the final touch-ups on that, as well as the other various alchemicals and items that he takes out on jobs.
Excellent. And I assume he pretty much does science right up until it's time to leave.
Yes.
For any particular job?
Mostly. A lot of his work does involve like letting chemicals steep and percolate and things like that. And so the rest of the crew would know by now that, if he is actively doing something, he's like, don't talk to me, leave me alone, let me work. But if things are in a state where he can just leave them be, then he is more than happy to socialize. Well, I say more than happy. He is still often very terse and not the friendliest guy necessarily, but it's like light and day between I am working. If you come near me, I will splash you with acid versus I am safe to approach.
Okay. I like it. Let's leave Logan to his science and hear from Jemma.
Jemma is currently in sort of the main living quarters, like the family room of the boat, the open area. She's sitting on whatever dirty couch they have there with her feet up, and she's reading a book on proper etiquette or correct social usage. And usually before a mission, she is studying up on whatever persona she's going to need to portray on the mission. So if it's just going to talk to people, she'll usually just brush up on normal etiquette for like high society, or find out things she didn't know about so that she doesn't make any faux pas or like have any tells when she goes out and pretends to be someone else. Her look is she has sort of ginger red hair that comes down to about her midway down her back, bangs. Her face is very average looking unless she does something with it. If she would like to, she could blend into a crowd. If she wants to, she could dress up and have the most unique looking face that she'd like. But average height, average build. She's usually wears really expensive clothing, but functional. So silks, silk shirts, lace, anything that she can get her hands on, really. And she is just sipping tea while she's reading her book.
Okay. So, for your reference, the four of you, I've added some stuff to the Roll20. I think I told you guys about this yesterday. If you are interested, there is a handout in there called Keeping Time, because the way time is kept in Doskvol and sort of across the Imperium is a little different than we do. So the Imperial calendar is divided into 6 months. There's 60 days each. Moontide, the holiday that is happening tonight, happens at the end of each month. There's also some notes in there on how time every day is split up, because in the cataclysm that happened a very long time ago, over 800 years ago, it is the year 847, the sun was shattered and only remnants of it exist. You can only really see it at dawn and at twilight. The moon, however, still there, looms very large and bright over the city at night. Days are divided into two 12-hour sections. The first starting at dawn, the second starting at twilight or at dusk. So the first 12 hours are just their numbers, and the second 12 hours, because criminals are dramatic, each have a name. And they're in there, so we will refer back to those, not making any promises that I'm going to use those all the time, but those are in there, so you all know what I'm talking about. So we're going to have a bit of a flashback. Because you know I love a good flashback. A few days before Moontide, you received a letter from someone within the Shade, the larger organization that your crew now works for. It didn't say much, just a meeting location, a time, and a couple of stipulations. The Razorback, corner table with the cracked leg, 56 Calavet, silk, no weapons, no lamps. You're all familiar with the Razorback, a particularly rough and tumble tavern just across from the northern docks in front of Ink Lane. You all know them, as you live in the city and have lived in this area for a while. It's owned and run by a married pair of retired Leviathan hunters, June Bristol, who takes care of the books, and Delilah Soren, who tends the bar. The official story is that the Razorback was named after the last Leviathan Delilah and June hunted together, but people often say, out of earshot of June, though to the great delight of Delilah, that it's truly called that after June's prickly personality. Regardless of whether that story is true, everyone knows that you do not mess with someone who survived the Leviathan hunting profession to retire. So, we're doing a flashback a few days back. 56 Calavet is today. Moontide would be the 60th. Silk is the 7th hour after twilight breaks, and no weapons, no lamps is pretty standard fare for the job. So we're gonna go back about 4 days. You're all on your boat, doing whatever it is you do. And you need to get ready for this first meeting with, hopefully, a handler from the Shade. What do you do?
I think Jemma's ready pretty early. She's sort of standing near the doorway, tapping her toe impatiently. Right, we going?
Patience. Some of us like to take our time in getting ready.
I thought I was prissy.
Yes, well, you are also much more practiced at it than some of us.
Thank you.
Bron sitting in the corner. They'll respect us more if we're late.
Are you quite sure? The note was very particular in the time.
I don't show up to any meeting unless I'm 5 minutes after.
Well, you can lag behind then.
Just saying, you're gonna look desperate.
Or professional.
Is there a difference?
I think so. Barbara!
She comes out of her room. They said no weapons, but instead of her brass knuckles, she put on every ring that she owns on both hands. And walks out. Yes?
It's about time to go. You ready?
Ready?
So, Bron, you're staying behind then?
No, I'm not gonna let you chuckle fucks deal with this yourselves.
Then we're leaving.
Alright.
Yeah?
Bron takes 2 pistols, tucks one behind his, in the back of his pants, and the other in his boot.
Right. Look, I know we haven't worked together for very long, but if you get shot, then I get shot. Can you please, maybe just the one?
If they search me, they're gonna expect one. That's what this one's for. The other one's for the one they don't search for.
Right. Okay.
I'm not going in unarmed. That's just stupid.
We're not unarmed. We have Barbara.
I'm not going in unarmed. That's just stupid.
All right. Logan, you got anything you want to say?
I have some of my less harmful concoctions, but nothing that should be outright questionable, objectionable. And will show just like has a ring on his finger that like shows that he can pop off the gem to it.
Right.
So we're going.
We're going.
Come on, boy.
Ugh. Make sure you clean up after that thing.
He has a name.
Right, I'm sure he does.
Helsing.
Sorry?
He's a good dog. Good. His name's Helsing. He's a good dog.
Oh, 6 words in a sentence out of you. First time this trip. All right, let's go.
Okay. And the 4 of you together head out. And you head a little bit north, curving around, following the edge of the docks. It is pretty dark generally when you're making your way through the city at night, mostly because of the smog, the heavy layer of smog that sort of covers everything. Out here on the docks, it's a little bit better. You can see a little bit more of the moon hanging up in the sky. The moon every week seems to be getting a little bit closer, a little bit bigger, and some people are a little unsettled. But it's up there, as well as at sort of the crossroads where any of this area out on the docks would turn and sort of go into the main city. There are lights, sort of tall lampposts that are wired into the grid of the city. There aren't many electric lights out here on the docks, but there are enough to sort of light the way. You make your way up and around. Takes you a few minutes to get there, to a more northern dock, and you find yourselves outside the Razorback. The Razorback is sort of a short, squat building. It is sort of combination brick and pieces that have been added on that are wood. It's got a hand-carved sign out front, and the front doors are sort of flung open. Oil lamp, that sort of yellow light that comes from oil lamps spilling out into the street. There's music playing on the inside, and a lot of rowdy folk that are out pretty late. You head inside? You head inside?
Can we
Yeah.
keep eyes? Barbara's gonna be at the back and just scoping out anyone looking at us funny.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you can roll for that, huh? Since it's a game.
Ooh.
Let's
Okay.
see, Brooks.
First roll of the game.
First roll of the game.
First roll of the game. So you want to roll to keep an eye out, look around. So for the most part, when rolling happens, I'm gonna just tell you you have to roll for something. You're in charge of telling me what you want to roll with, or what makes the most sense out of your action ratings. Usually they're gonna be pretty straightforward. Like this one in particular is probably survey, to sort of survey the land, get a lay of the land, keep an eye out for anybody that is watching you. The position for the role, this is not a controlled environment. Defaults to risky. That's just sort of narrative stuff. For me, and then we set the effect level, limited, standard. What effect will this have on the situation? It's probably pretty limited. Again, this is not a super difficult roll. So essentially, and Roll20 will help you do this, you would be building a dice pool sort of along the way. But luckily, we have these great sheets that will just prompt you to put in the correct numbers. So you can just click survey.
Okay.
And go through the prompts.
So it's risky.
It's risky.
Okay. And the effect is limited.
Limited. I'm not doing a progress clock for this. And then if you had any bonus dice, you could add those.
So.
Don't know that we need to get into pushing yourself to just take a look around.
Nah.
And then you would just roll. And so then you would take the highest one. That is a 5, so that's a partial success. That's what we'll go through every time. It will be very, very quick once we remember the order things go in. And most of those are just for my purposes. So Briggs, to take a look around, you see a lot of people you've seen before. A lot of the people that are in here are dockers, people that you know or at least know in passing, a couple that you have probably worked with, or at least that you've been working with recently to sort of get the layers set up. Lots of familiar folks, a dirty, sweaty, muscly bunch, because they work as dock hands all day, moving cargo, and working on ships, things like that. A few of them are probably sailors of some sort. There's no one that just strikes you as like a rich and famous captain or anything like that, but definitely some unfamiliar faces that are probably just in port for a few days. Over at the bar, behind the bar, you see Delilah, smiling as always, tending the bar. June is nowhere to be seen, but slinging drinks around, sort of waves to you over the heads of everybody else as you come in. And then in the back, you do see somebody give you a little bit of a side eye. You have the description of at least where you're supposed to be, which is the table in the corner with the cracked leg. Anybody that's been in here before, you know what they're talking about. There's one table that is sort of shoved up in the corner because one of the legs is cracked and doesn't hold its full weight, but replacing furniture is pretty expensive. So it's sort of shoved up in there and kind of mounted to the wall a little bit, with something kind of holding the leg up, so they don't have to get a new table. And there is one person sort of kicked back in a chair, boots up on the table, kind of eyeing you guys.
Barbara just does one of these chin things.
What's the time?
Did you get here right on time?
Probably like a few minutes early.
Then it is a few minutes after.
Okay.
Silk.
I guess I could have answered that question. We'll go up to the bar and grab drinks.
Okay. You walk up to the bar, and you see Delilah kind of smile, acknowledge you. I'm assuming you've all been in here before. She probably recognizes you. And after a moment, kind of slides down. She's pretty tall, muscular, black hair that she keeps really short, sort of pushed back out of her face. Scarred, messed up eye. Just really, she has seen a lot and lived through it. But she grins at you. Welcome back.
Hello, love.
What can I get you?
Do you have a shot of ice still?
Oh, I'll check.
Right.
She turns around and lifts up kind of the heavy lid of a cooling box that she keeps stuff like that in, pulls out a bottle, goes to pour a glass, kind of slides it across very delicately, puts the bottle back. Anything for you
Like
friends?
this. Barbara, she's just taking an ale with an ice cube in it.
Because she does now, yes, and.
Right.
Rest of you lot?
Gentlemen.
Whiskey, s'il vous plaît.
Coffee, black.
Night. Late night. She
Seems
goes
like
pour
it.
drinks. She pours the drinks and sort of brings them back and holding a mug of ale and then two others in her hand. And she has sort of a larger hand on her left side that is sort of these cobbled together like metal pieces, like a prosthetic that is held on her forearm, essentially held on with like straps that go around her shoulder and chest. Kind of sets him down, slides him across to you, sort of lets the metal hand like clank on the table. Working then?
Yeah. Yeah, one of those nights.
All right, well, let me know if I can get you anything.
Thank you.
She
Thank
continues
her. There's
to tend bar.
A motorcycle just outside of my house right now.
It's okay.
Can you hear it?
No?
Mm-mm. You good?
All right. Walking up to the table with our beverages.
Okay. You head over to the table in the corner. The person sitting there, you kind of get a better look as you walk into the. It's a little more shadowy, a little dark in the corner. As the oil lamps don't cover every corner of the room, and Delilah and June don't want to pay for electricity because it's very expensive and fueled by demon blood. It's a weird city. We'll get into that part, but it's mostly lit by oil lamps and everything in here. But the figure kicks their feet sort of off the table, lets their boots fall to the floor. They're pretty tall, thin. Puts their forearms on the table. They're wearing dark clothes, black gloves, and have a sort of a half mask that is black and molded to the left side of their face. So you can only see the right side of their face. But they smile and sort of gesture to the mismatched chairs that are around the rest of the table. You're late.
Well, I think it's right exactly 7 if I, well, sorry, what's the time? Right just silk if I might say so myself.
Barbara pulls out a timepiece, looks at it precisely.
All right, I'll give you that. Most people don't check. They usually just apologize.
If there's one thing you can expect us to never do, it's apologize.
You know, you seem the type. So, your bon voyage?
Bon
Right,
voyage,
name-
yes.
Right.
Clever. So,
So,
you're here for work, I assume.
that's what they tell me.
Great. Well, luckily, I have a job for you. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Well, frankly, comes from a couple of other crews that felt it was a little below their pay grade or just not their kind of work. So it's fallen to you, and if you don't do it, well, honestly, it might not just get done. No skin off my nose either way. You familiar with the crows?
The birds or the gang?
I think they just look at you.
But to be specific?
You in the business of killing birds?
Did have to live on the streets for many years, so yeah.
Right, okay. Gonna have to be pretty literal with this one. The gang in Crow's Foot, south of here. Familiar at all?
Of course.
Bunch of cutthroats. Anyway. Tensions are high, I would say, down in Crow's Foot. The Crows, Rorik, sort of the head honcho down there, took over Crow's Foot a few years ago, have a tenuous peace with a couple of other gangs. The Lampblacks, for one, I'm sure you know who they are. They're the ones that are always on about electricity. And the Red Sashes, the ones with the fancy swords. They're all kind of fighting for control down there. And I guess somebody's sick of it. I want you to take out Rorik.
That would
Taking out the
be
leader of a crew is below the pay grade of some of the other crews.
You'd be surprised how up their own asses people can get. Plus, as far as our line of work, I'm not sure how new you all are to it, but pretty straightforward. Power shifts in the city all the time. Gangs can't keep their heads on straight. Mostly because people keep cutting them off.
Do you care how?
Do I? No. I don't care. I
This
tell you
is
to
a
kill the guy,
client.
you kill the guy, I pay you.
No other stipulations from the client?
No. You can make it quiet. Probably be helpful for their purposes, but really up to you. Now, one stipulation. Crow's Foot is not your territory. But, lucky for you, I think I have a way around that. You all celebrate Moontide?
it's a local holiday.
And you're not a local?
I don't look it, do I?
No, you don't, but impolite to make assumptions and all that. Well, regardless, it's 4 days from now, and everybody who's anybody is gonna be in Silk Shore at the park. And I do love a good technicality. So, any questions?
Do we know our client?
I'm your client, as far as you're concerned.
Your name?
Call me Cross.
Of course.
Did we ask about pay?
If not yet.
How much?
Enough to get you through to the next one. Plus some extra if you can do it quiet.
Is there a deadline, aside from the convenience of them being in our hunting grounds during Moontide?
Client wants it done this week. So.
Question. As far as pay goes, I know that in this system, like coin is like 1 and 2 and stuff like that. Is he giving us like an actual number, or is he skirting around the question?
He's kind of skirting around the question.
Right. Well, better to know for sure. If you have a number for the pay, that way we can run it past our accountant guy.
You got an accounting guy. You who just got set up in this district like this last week.
Not my first day.
Let's roll.
I'm so slipping into the accent you're doing. It's very difficult.
Hello. Da, 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 da.
Accent bleed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to convince him to give you more details. What are we gonna roll for that?
Is that a sway?
Is that a sway? Probably. Is that like manipulation?
Mm-hmm.
Deception? Yeah. So that would be a sway.
Risky and standard?
Risky and standard.
All right. It's a 6.
Okay, that's a full success. Yeah, he looks at you. You can see the his right eye that is visible kind of twitch a little bit, like he wants to squint at you, but is stopping himself. And he reaches into a pocket, pulls out a sort of folded up piece of paper and slides it across the table to you. It has a couple of details written on it. It's not a contract or anything. It's really just like a note that essentially says Rorik. It says crows. It says crow's foot, 1 week. And then it has got a number on it for how much the payment would be. This is going to be, as far as you guys are concerned, a job that's worth about 6 coin, which is a standard score, decent loot, meaning you might be able to find some loot along the way, but would be 6 coin in your pocket, and perhaps something extra if you do it quiet. And this can also generate reputation for you guys as well.
Would Rorik's appearance be well known, or is that something we should be asking Cross?
That's interesting. Who's from here?
From Doskvol, or?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From the city specifically. Everybody but Jemma. Yeah, I think you are at least a little bit familiar with Rorik. He is very often seen in public. He's been head of the Crows for a while. Has lasted a lot longer than a lot of other gang leaders have. He's very large, a very large, sort of hulking, muscular man. He is a shaved head, but a big beard that was black at one point is kind of going gray. He's very loud, always smiling, always laughing, never wears a shirt. That kind. But yeah, I think you all have at least seen him at some point. He likes to be in public.
Do you mind if I ask, do you know about him personally? Like anything about his personal life?
About Rorik?
Yeah, like what's he into? As far as sexual relations or...
Why would I know that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what the man spends his money on. Most of
Wife,
the time,
kids.
No. In his line of business? No way. I don't know. Likes to gamble, I think. Generally, I just see his guys out beating ass and cutting throats. So,
Right. Well, got a few days. Do some research. How can we contact you if we need to?
well, I'm usually here in the evenings. So, I'll check in on you in a couple of days.
Right. And where do we go for payment? And what you want is proof.
Whatever you got, but word will get around, I think.
What? Maybe if we do our job right, won't get around so quickly.
I guess we'll see. Anything else? All right. I'll check in on you in a couple of days. Don't get attached. I won't be here every time.
Lovely to meet you, Croak.
It's Cross.
What? Cross.
And they stand, sort of push their hand through their hair that is visible, kind of shake it out a little bit, and leave you at the table. So,
well, I'm glad you all went. I've worked with crews before where people like to interject a lot and ask a lot of dumb questions. I feel like you did a good job. Everyone happy with what's going on?
You'll notice that Logan has been writing in a notebook, but if you glance, it's not at all in whatever language we've been speaking. It's in a cipher of some kind.
I thought he was just taking notes on something completely different.
No, on the job, but in a way so as no one should be able to figure out without knowing how to crack the code. Alright, well, we have a few days until Moontide. Oh, right, I remembered. I had another question, but it wasn't necessarily for Cross. It was more for the GM of, I know we have our hunting grounds, but that means we can still go to other parts of the city and like just not do crime, right?
yeah, you can go wherever you want. It's just if you start like taking jobs in places where you are not supposed to, the different factions will very quickly be a little bothered.
Sure.
So yeah, you just got to be careful of stuff like that. But yeah, you can go wherever you want.
Okay.
Unless there is a faction that like particularly hates you and is like, don't fucking show up in my part of town. But yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so we could absolutely go to whatchamacallit, to Crow's Foot and do some scouting as long as we don't cause a stink.
Sure.
All right.
Right, I think maybe finish our beverages and go back do some planning.
I think we should. I don't know what I'm doing with my voice here. I'm gonna do a bit of scouting before we get a plan going.
Right.
Not much use in planning if we don't know our target.
Well, that's what I meant as far as making a plan to go do that.
Do you need a plan to watch someone?
Well, we're working as a team now, right? So is it just going to be you out on your own? Or are we going to do some up-person, personal chats with him?
I'm gonna follow him and get his routine.
Right.
And then we can come up with a plan from there.
Right, all right. You're the sneaky bunch, right? You like to be up in the shadows, up in the rafters of places.
Do you think
Well, I've never
I'm
worked
some-
with you before.
I'm not a ninja.
Well, you're a sniper, right? You have to be far away.
I follow people. I find out where they are, and I kill them from very far away.
Like a ninja.
I believe you have been reading too many stories, Jemma.
I'm going to finish my coffee, so I'll be up for at least another 8-9 hours.
Right.
I'm gonna go follow him, find out where he lives, who lives there, vantage points, get us some initial intel.
All right, where you want to meet?
I'll meet you all.
I think
back
we
at
should-
the boat.
Well, if you're going all the way to Crow's Foot, Perhaps we should all go out that way.
Try the Leaky Bucket.
Sure, we'll make it a field trip then. Yeah. Okay.
Look, you have your job, I got mine. Once you figure out some of the stuff, then I could go in with my thing, talk to him, get some information. Not as me, of course.
Okay. I will find you then. After.
Leaky Bucket. Go get a beverage or two.
Bron finishes his coffee and leaves. This is very uncomfortable, this energy that this crew has.
But before Bron leaves, Barbara will clear her throat. Martin runs the place.
Sorry.
The Leaky Bucket. The Leaky Bucket in Crowsfoot.
Yeah.
Martin runs the place. Some of the crows hang out there.
Keep that in mind. Thanks. Bunch of weirdos. As he walks away.
Let him go, finish our beverages, and slowly mark our way to Crowsfoot.
Okay. How are you gonna get down there?
Oh yeah, we have a map.
Can we just get across the bridges, or are they like toll bridges, or?
You can get across. It starts to be a bit of a hike if you're going on foot. So
Yeah,
Where are we right now? I don't remember.
somewhere in the docks.
the docks, like up here.
Okay.
Like
Is there a... What sort of distance are we looking at right now? I don't see a...
19 feet to the
18
crow's
feet.
foot.
18.
Because that
Roll
looks
20
like...
does not have the scale.
Like 10 blocks or something like that? That doesn't look too far.
Sure, we can just go by blocks because there's not a measurement thing on there, so it wouldn't be too far to go. It's just once you start going like across town,
Hmm.
starts to be a little bit far to walk.
Yeah, would not want to go from Soapshore up to Six Towers on
No,
foot.
very far. So yeah,
Mhm.
about 10 blocks to get generally into Crow's Foot, and then you've got the run a bit.
Do we actually think it is a good idea for us all to be seen in Crow's territory leading up to this job?
No.
I mean, since I do not know necessarily what I will gain from going about it without seeing the man in person, and I am not particularly sneaky, as it were. So I may be better served beginning to prepare various tricks and treats for us to use on the mission.
Right. Makes sense. Gonna change my appearance a bit, but could do a walkabout by myself.
I stick out a little, but I don't want to leave Bron all by himself.
I'll be there.
Well, doesn't he have Helsing? So you won't be totally alone. But we already told him someone would be at the Leaky Bucket to meet him, so one or both of you should be prepared to meet him there.
Barbara looks in Gemma's general direction.
Mm.
Looks away. You can
Be
go.
fine by myself. Yeah. Fine. All right. Yeah, I'll just go change. Don't want to stick out. So We'll be back late. Don't wait up. I'll do whatever you want.
Okay. And you split up. Some of you heading back to the boat. Some of you heading down south to Crowsfoot to start the planning phase of your first job. I think that's a good place for us to take a break. So, thanks for hanging out with us so far, everybody, as we get a little bit into a new game. We'll be back in just a few minutes, and yeah, refresh yourselves, get something to drink, and stick around. We'll be back soon. And welcome back, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us during our break. I'm not sure why I started this as if we were on like a morning talk show, but here we are. I'm Ira Glass. We're going to keep playing Blades in the Dark instead of doing NPR because that sounds like more fun. So, planning stage. Yay. Preparation for murder. So Bron is going to, so you've got, well, I said it was 56, right? What did I say it was? I just started like 4 sentences. I had a lot of caffeine earlier.
56,
count
yeah.
that.
56,
so-
the day of the month. Okay, I was like, 56 what?
56
Bottles
murders.
of beer on the wall. 56 bottles of beer.
Is the day of the month. Calivet is the month. And Moontide will be on 60. So it's 56 now. 57, 58, 59, and then 60 is Moontide. So that's your time that you've got. Bron is going to spend the rest of tonight and tomorrow, at least, stalking or hunting, I guess.
It's same thing.
Okay. Let's start there. We'll do the roll for that, and then we'll see where everybody else fits in. So for at least the next day, Bron is pretty much nowhere to be found.
Okay. So, yes. Can I roll to hunt, then, I think would be
Yes.
the most appropriate?
Yes.
Hunting target, gathering information about its location and movements, attacking with precision, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Just go totally...
Just go totally rogue and just shoot the man like first day out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Helsing gives me any sort of boost or anything. He's a potency for tracking and fighting the supernatural, but I don't.
No, this is just a dude, as far as you're aware.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we hunt.
Is this risky?
This is risky.
God, there's so many prompts.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Okay, what did you roll? So you take the high,
So I
the
add
highest
them
number.
together.
You add them together is still a failure.
It's still a failure. I rolled a 2.
1 to 3. Okay, so a 2 is a bad outcome. Things go poorly. You probably don't achieve your goal and you suffer complications.
I don't know why I play games where I have to roll dice.
I'm not sure. It's something you really seem to struggle with. Okay.
We're gonna convert
So-
every game into a Good Society hack, and it's just tokens only.
Right? No
It's
dice.
tokens
Done.
only.
narrative.
Only narrative.
Where'd the thing go? Lost
Only
my chart.
tokens, the very niche, spicy site for TTRPG players.
Head empty, only tokens. Where did my chart go that I had? Lost it.
Well, I guess nothing bad happens then.
No. Okay. So, you head down to Crowsfoot. You spend a lot of the night stalking around, looking for leads, trying to find Rorik. So you're from the area. You're from Doskvol. You have some basic knowledge of at least most of these places, especially because of your former work as an inspector. You hang out around Crowsfoot for a while. Spend several hours there. You don't turn up anything. Yes.
I just had a question because I forgot about the stress thing. How does that
Yes. Pushing yourself?
work? Yeah.
I don't know if you can do it after a roll or not. Is the
Okay.
thing.
Is it only before a roll?
Let me look. Just real quick. Rolling the dice. Action rolls.
I didn't know
I
if it was
think
like a
you-
luck thing. That's why I wanted to check.
I think you have to do it before. I'm pretty sure that you have to do it before you roll.
Okay. That sounds right. But I just wanted to check.
Yeah. Yeah, because you would add them as bonus dice to your dice pool. So you can get help from a friend, or you can push yourself or take a devil's bargain.
Okay.
That would be before you make the roll.
Gotcha. Just
So you
checking.
fail miserably. Oops. So you spend some time, you spend several hours until dawn starts to break in Crowsfoot, and you've turned up nothing. You start to get a little frustrated. I think probably start to wander down a little bit toward southern Crowsfoot, where people are starting to awake. People are getting up, starting to head to work, and something catches your eye. You watch this group of folks sort of spill out of a tavern nearby, having drank through the night, now into the morning. They are loud, they are rowdy. It is morning and they are still drunk, but one of them has a sort of like a black duster that they are wearing, kind of keep the soot off them and everything. It is a tall, not overly tall, but sort of tall, thin person. This black duster, shaggy blonde hair, and like painted kind of crudely on the back of it. Looks like it was stenciled, kind of crudely and messily. Is the shape of a crow.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I guess I'm just following them.
Okay. You follow them for a little bit. Are you kind of sticking to the shadows?
Yeah, I was.
Or
keeping,
how are you going about this?
If this is daytime, this is daytime. No, because this was immediately after. This is like middle of the night.
No, I just said it was like dawn.
Huh?
I just said it was like around dawn.
Around dawn. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't gonna act suspicious. If there are people around, we'll try to blend in with kind of the crowds and stuff. If there aren't people around, then yeah, trying to stay out of sight.
Okay, there are some people around. As it's getting into the morning, people are getting up, having to go to work, that kind of thing. So more cabbies and stuff in the streets. These people obviously having stayed out too late. You follow them for a bit, trying to blend into the crowds. They start to head up a little bit farther north in Crowsfoot. They split off from their group, and you can see them kind of swaying a little bit until, I don't know, they walk like 3 or 4 blocks. They split off from the rest of their group, and they kind of stop and turn down an alley. You follow them in, I assume. So you follow this figure in, and they make it about halfway down the alley. They stop, sort of run a hand through this like blonde hair, and then they turn to look at you.
Bron sort of like casually like goes to lean up against the side of the alleyway and begins to like light a cigarette or something, like he had ducked in the alley to have a smoke, like totally not paying attention to the guy being there.
Can I help you?
Do you have a light? Mine's kind of busted.
Sure, buddy. He reaches in a pocket and pulls out a little like matchbook, lights one, sort of holds it up to you.
Thanks. I gotta start carrying matches around with me. These mechanical things just break more often than they're worth.
He kind of leans on the wall. Hadn't seen you around before.
I'm sure there are lots of people around here you haven't seen before.
Actually, no. And from behind you, you hear some more footsteps as a couple more people fill into the alley.
How many people are we talking?
There's 2 people behind you, and then this
The
guy.
one guy in front of me. If I stop to take a smoke in the wrong alley, I'm sorry about that. I'll move along if I need to.
That's the thing. Seems like you've had several hours to move along, but you've been lurking around.
Now, I think y'all might have the wrong idea here. See, sometimes people just get, and Bron just tries to book it, barrel straight through the guy, and
Okay.
make a run for it.
Just gonna run.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So I don't know if this would be. I don't know if this is prowl.
What's to run away?
Well, because prowl is climb, swim, run, jump, and tumble.
Yeah, because that's also for like ambushing and stuff too. Prowl is all of your basic like athletic skills, so you're not trying to like cause any damage. So yeah, prowl. We'll do prowl.
Do I push myself to get how easily does stress clear?
You have to do specific things to clear stress, like during downtime.
Indulging your vice during.
Yeah, that would be like a downtime thing, unless you have moves that get rid of them.
So we what? 2, 4, 9 stress boxes. I assume we. That's not like harm though.
No, harm is the clock. I think there's a clock.
Yeah, this.
No, you have the track.
This
Just
feels
kidding.
important.
This is an
for me to
apocalypse
get
world. There's the
away,
harm track.
In this situation.
Please survive
So,
to hunt
Okay.
another day.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
You
mark
push
2
yourself?
I'm gonna push
Episode
myself
2.
to mark 2 stress to try to get away.
Okay, so you can add an extra dice.
Risky.
Oh, is this desperate? I feel like this is desperate.
Well, I'm glad I pushed myself. Effect. Is that always standard?
Not always, but most of the time, yeah. Say standard.
And then bonus die 1.
And then a bonus die.
I just get 1, right?
You just get 1, but you do get to mark an XP for rolling in a desperate situation.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. So do I take for what's the difference with desperate? Do I need
Nothing.
is
It just if it that's it's the thing that lets you mark an XP. Is the only thing.
Okay. 6.
That is a full success. So yeah, so mark an XP on wherever the track is. That would be under your prowess. Since you put yourself in a desperate
Is it
situation.
not for the playbook advancement?
Heck, I just looked at it and then I
Wait.
closed the dang window.
Where was I supposed? Where did you say?
No, mark 1 XP in the attribute for the action you rolled.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
this
that would
says,
be under your
so
prowess.
under playbook advancement, it says every time you roll a desperate action mark. Oh, I see.
Mark
I
XP
see.
in that action's attribute.
Okay, and at the end. Of
It
the
says what I
section.
said.
Gotcha.
We don't read.
We don't.
I
read.
know. You guys read half the sentence and then said,
Okay.
I
It's
know what this says.
reading.
I'm marking prowess. Okay.
Yeah. So you
Is
know.
that what all those symbols are for?
Yeah, that's what all those little ticks are for. You can mark the XPs. So you want to put yourself in dangerous situations. So Bron, you hold on. Now I was gonna put on some dramatic music, but I don't have time for that. You turn in the middle of your sentence and you barrel through the two people that are standing behind you, caught very off guard. They sort of fall and jump to the side of the alley, and you sprint out into the street, take sort of a wild left turn, and run away.
Yeah.
They give chase for a little bit, but they cannot keep up with you.
I'm imagining a lot of like pushing in crowds, like leaping over, like dodging in front of carriages. Do we have horse-drawn carriages? Yeah.
They're drawn by big goats.
Okay, the goat-drawn carriages, like ducking between, like running like in front of a carriage, letting them like cut off, like
Yeah.
the semi-trailer things, and then a lot of like leaping over fish stands.
Yes.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, you pretty quickly lose them with your very good parkour, and sort of turn into another alley, kind of back pressed up against the wall. Take a breath, look out. They're not following you.
I think a little bit of like a growl to the left, and like a light growl from Helsing, and who like appears next to Bron, and Bron just says, "Shut up." I could have gone better. All right, let's get back.
You say this and start to head back to the boat.
Yeah.
Okay. You head back to the boat.
Really taking a very long route, making sure he's not being followed.
Mhm.
Like not going directly back. Getting out of Crow's Foot as quickly as possible. But then once he gets to the docks, like walks around the blocks
Looping around
a few times, like
Okay.
really make sure nobody's following him.
Yeah, you can do that. You're pretty certain that once they thought they had chased you off, they kind of left it alone. So you head back.
And goes back
The
to the
boat.
tugboat.
What were the rest of you doing while Bron was getting nothing done?
Waiting for Bron
Just waiting?
at the Leaky Bucket. No, I'm gonna gather some information from the locals.
Yeah, Bron's not going to the Leaky Bucket.
That's
no.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because didn't you say that's an area where the crows hang out? This seems like
Mhm.
Yeah.
a horribly bad idea for him right now.
Okay. So Jemma, you have headed over to the Leaky Bucket.
Mhm.
What's this place? You guys made this place up. What's it like?
Mid-tier establishment. There's it's one of those places that the locals go, and you kind of have to know it to find it. There is a bucket. There's 3 buckets that hang from the ceiling that catch the water if it rains.
Okay. I like it. Who runs this place? Martin?
Martin.
Oh, cool. Okay. So you head, it's pretty late at this point. You head over to the Leaky Bucket. And yeah, there are plenty of locals sort of in here hanging around, having a drink sort of late into the night. What are you trying to get up to?
I kind of want to get a lay of the land as far as like the people in the bar. Jemma has pulled her hair back so that it's sort of a tight braid straight down her back, not as noticeable. She looks slightly rough, but still accentuating some of her features. She's wearing a like neutral colored dress, and it's not like it probably was fancy at one time, but it's a little ripped and worn. To sort of get a lay of the people in there and maybe determine to her or like someone who seems to be chatty and a local. Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to roll?
That's a good question. I'm going to lie to them and tell them that I am looking to move to the area as a lady of the night, and I need to know who I need to speak to about starting work here.
Okay.
So sway?
Yeah, so go ahead and roll sway, and then we'll see how that conversation goes.
Being standard?
Yeah.
Oh. It's a 2 and a 3.
Okay, that's a failure.
Mhm.
Okay. You kind of sidle up to the person next to you. This person is let's see, what do you look like? Kind of short, thin, sort of tan skin, rough hands, black, kind of shaggy hair. He sits there sort of sipping a whiskey, and just sort of looks up as you sit down next to him. Can I help you?
Sorry, love. I'm new to the area, and I was wondering, well, I was wondering if I could get to know some people in town, and I know that this whole city has a lot of people in charge, and work I'm looking to do. I probably should get in contact with them, and
Okay, sweetheart, I'm gonna stop you right there. So,
what do you mean?
whatever your game is, whatever you're trying to get involved in here, let's just say you're not the type. So, maybe try somewhere else before you get in trouble.
Is there a better area for that?
Listen, I'm not sure. Here, maybe you should go home.
Well, I just wanted to have people have a good time.
Right, like I said, you stick out like a sore thumb. I don't know if you are working for the Crows, shilling drugs, trying to get in with the Red Sashes, whatever. You're not going to be able to do it here.
Does he mean like this building or like this area?
Well, he means this area.
Okay. All right. She'll thank him and go grab a beverage and sit off in the corner and just keep an eye on things, see what she can see in this tavern specifically.
Okay. You sit a fair bit, look around, and after a bit, someone approaches you. Well, sort of approaches you. Has a drink in hand, has sort of like made their way away from the sort of the main area of the bar, and kind of has leaned back against the wall near a table of yours. Like you, she has sort of fiery red hair in a long braid down her back. She is pretty pale as well, and wearing a very, very nice coat, sort of black, very slick coat with a red like silk sash. Sticks out in here quite a bit. And has a what most people don't have in this building, a sword at her hip, and just kind of leaned back against the wall, kind of looks over at you. Rough day.
Aren't they all?
You stick out a little bit.
I see you. I see we're very similar in our growing up, perhaps?
Perhaps. Refugee.
Yeah.
You're looking for work?
Looking to do work? Yeah, certain kind.
I think we both know that's not true.
Well, what are you offering?
You lied on your feet?
Better on my back, but yeah.
Any good with the blade?
Depends on the kind.
Well, I'm not usually one to mix business with pleasure, but things are getting a bit out of hand in these parts for my liking.
As you say.
If you're looking for work, come down to, Ink Lane? The docks?
Yeah.
There's a shop there. Tattoos. Artist by the name of Triss.
Right.
Tomorrow. Around 7.
And can I ask what I'm going to be doing?
You never interviewed for a job before.
Right.
You want the work or
So-
not? No skin off my nose, but it's a hell of a lot better than whatever you're trying to do in this bar.
Well, maybe I'll see you there.
She sort of knocks back the rest of her drink, walks over, sets the glass down on the bar, and heads out.
Did she give me the name of the place?
No, because I don't have the name of the place.
Okay.
'Cause I gotta find it.
What street was it
You
on?
know who she's talking about, though, because Triss is an extremely well-known artist. It is, she's probably the most well-known tattoo artist on Ink Lane. It's kind of like an honor if you have one of her tattoos. So she only works on certain people.
Okay,
I'll find the name of the shop.
sure. All right, well, I will wait until... I'll wait until dawn, because I'm a good friend. And then I will head out.
It doesn't have
Not
a
gonna-
name, so we're gonna make one up.
Okay.
I'll think of one. Okay, so you wait. Bron never shows.
Mhm.
And you head out.
Okay. As soon as I get back, if anybody's up, I just go, I think Bron's dead.
Actually, he rode in a little bit ago. I am brewing him some coffee. You're welcome to some coffee as well.
You're a straight up bloke, Logan. All right. Guess we'll compare notes.
Does not sound like he has many notes with which to compare, so good luck.
Fine. Where is Bron?
Ron's back at the boat.
Yeah, we're in the boat.
Oh. I guess if nobody else was there, then he's on deck waiting for everybody else to get back.
Logan and Barbara were already there.
Yeah, Logan would have been preparing
Depending.
substances. But yeah, Logan would have been there for
Yeah,
sure.
Logan was there.
Okay. Then yeah. I don't know. Probably better to wait till everyone's back for Bron to give the information on what happened and stuff. So I think it's probably more interesting. So maybe Bron's asleep until Barbara gets back.
Okay, that is fair. So you have some coffee. Ron takes a nap. Barbara,
Yes.
what were you getting up to?
Once they had left, the
Razorback.
down. Thank you. Yes, that one. She went back to the boat. She quietly went back to her room, donned a rather resplendent costume of a red dress, a long black ruffled cloak, pulled her hair back up in a lovely chignon, and a little hat with a hat pin, and a half mask, black silk, and headed out to Silkshore, to her favorite performance venue.
Okay.
Briefly, do you try and sneak past Logan as you are going out in this costume, or is he aware of this getup?
Probably not aware. Where is Logan?
He's probably in the lab setting things to, preparing ingredients and stuff, so it would not be too hard to sneak past, but
Trying to sneak then.
yep. I don't think you even need to roll for it. It's just a question of, do you call out like, okay, I'm heading out, or
Nope.
just turns around at one point and is like, oh, she's gone.
She is gone. So you head out. You can take a cab or a gondola over to Silkshore, should you wish, over to the east or southeast. And you make your way to this performance venue. What's this place like?
Definitely kind of run down, but it's still pretty popular with the artist types, like a dive bar, if you will. Cheap, but popular. And in this particular getup, she's pretty well known.
Okay. You head in, and people I think immediately recognize you a little bit. A few of them wave, a couple kind of whispering behind their hands. What would you like to accomplish?
She'll perform this evening at some point, so whoever she needs to talk to.
Okay.
And then probably try to talk with some folks about the upcoming holiday and who might be performing and when.
Okay. All right. So you would head in. There is a what word am I trying to think of? Like a bookkeeper, who works alongside the folks that own the bar to sort of book gigs, have people perform, that kind of thing. So you talk to them. It's easy enough for you to get a spot. What kind of performance does Barbara do?
She's a poet. She performs her poetry.
Is it good?
It's pretty good.
So you give this performance, not reading, a poetry reading, if you will, a sort of live poetry performance. People are pretty rapt for the most part. Many having seen you perform before. A few new faces that have been sort of dragged along by one of their many artist friends to see who was going to show up and take the stage tonight. When you're done, people clap very politely. A few more rowdy folks in the back kind of whoop a little bit, and you make your way off stage. People would be pretty willing, I think, to speak with you, having set that up. So you can kind of make your way over to one of the tables or the bar, even, and order yourself a drink, and you can speak with some folks. What kind of tack is Barbara gonna take?
In this particular moment, kind of that sort of confidence that borders on demanding. Just speaking about, not asking people questions, but sort of demanding answers to things.
Okay. So is that a sway? Is that more of a command?
I was aiming more for command.
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll. We'll see how this plays out.
I might throw some stress on this, if I may.
Okay. Call that the stress of performing. That is
Yes.
opened up these conversational alleys in the first place. So that'd be 2 stress.
2 stress?
Yes, 2 stress for pushing yourself, and then you can roll an extra dice.
Cool. Is this risky?
This is risky.
Key?
And I think we'll stick with standard.
Okie doke. And I get 1 bonus dice. Okay. I got a 4.
Okay, that's a partial success. Yeah, so you sit down, start talking to a couple of folks. I think at first they are sort of taken aback by how sort of forceful you are with them. What do you ask them?
Someone will be headlining on the holiday. Who is it?
I don't know. I'm not involved in the planning. I
You
assume.
haven't heard anything?
No. I assume just whoever shows up. It's getting harder and harder to find people these days, you know?
What, people are afraid to put themselves out there at the holiday?
Oh, yeah. You say the wrong thing, look at the wrong person, get thrown in fucking prison.
So we must be artists and also brave souls, I see.
Yeah. It's been rough, you know? Especially with, well, everything going on right across the canal.
How do you mean?
Oh, all the gang leaders gunning for each other.
Ah. And do they plan to take in the sights, you think?
Well, I assume so. Anybody usually goes. Especially that Rorik. You can hear him halfway across the park.
See him as well. Shouldn't it be a little chilly, walking around with no shirt on?
Well, I suppose the love he has for himself keeps him warm at night. Plus all those fancy lads.
He likes a fancy lad, then?
Now that he can afford them. Yeah. I assume the rest of them will be there too, so that's going to be a powder keg. You might ought to hang back, not perform.
and miss that opportunity. Perhaps a stunning performance of, I'm gonna pretend that Shakespeare existed at some point in this time, why not?
Sure.
A stunning performance of Romeo and Juliet, perhaps?
Well, the
Warring
whole thing.
factions. No, just a bit about Mercutio and the rest running each other to bits. What do you think? Do you think they'd like it?
I do. I think they'd see a bit of themselves in it.
Worth a try, I suppose.
Good luck to you anyway.
Thanks all the same. I shouldn't need it.
They kind of return to their drinks. Having given you what little information they can.
Got a little bit. Yeah. Give her regards to the proprietor of the place. See if she sees any friends, and otherwise has a drink, heads back.
Okay. You say hello to a couple of folks. You are congratulated on a lovely performance. A couple of people buy you drinks, that kind of thing. And you can head back to the boat.
Takes a roundabout way.
Just in case.
Just in case.
And,
Probably taking her hat off at one pass, switching around her cloak on the other pass, that sort of thing.
All right. And dressed relatively normally. Barbara makes it back, and you can all reconvene at your lair. What's the plan, Stans?
Okay. You all were out for most of the evening. Any luck?
The tracking was a bust.
And why didn't you come back
Come back.
to the meeting spot?
Like I said, the tracking was a bust.
Okay, what exactly do you mean by that?
Someone made me.
All right.
Did I
Well?
confirm that was Rourke that I was following with the blonde hair?
It was way too skinny to be Rourke.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, Rourke was shaved with a big black beard.
Okay,
And never wore a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Person was wearing a shirt, so confirmed.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to be careful as part of this operation then.
Right. Well, I was approached by a red sash lady. She offered me a job, I guess. So not a total bust, but I mean, maybe I could get some information that way.
Something, yes, but might also complicate matters if we get the red sashes involved as well.
Right, well, didn't make any promises.
Rourke's a fan of fancy lads.
What?
He's got a penchant for fancy lads now that he can afford them.
How do you know that?
Asked.
Oh,
Some folks out in Silk Shore.
right. Well, some of us got some stuff done. I need a nap.
So there's coffee brewing if you would like. Still have 3 days until Moontide, so still more time. Yes. You two at least look like shit, so
Thank you.
you're very welcome.
Ugh. All right. I'll lay down for a few hours. If anything happens. Oh wait, Bron. You weren't followed, eh?
No,
Are you sure?
positive.
Right.
This isn't my first rodeo.
Well, it's our first together, so it's good for me to check, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
And then Bron leaves.
Looks at Logan, does one of those.
Nods.
Barbara,
Mm-hmm.
go out and do a reading.
Maybe.
That's some new material then.
Always.
Like to hear it sometime if you like.
Come to a reading. Here it there.
Will you let me know when you do it?
Maybe.
Then maybe I'll be there.
All right then.
Night.
Barbara goes back to her room.
Jemma goes to her room.
Okay. All right. We'll do sort of one more round of preparation things over the next couple of days, and then it'll be job territory. So, what is the plan? Since first time out was kind of a bust, we got a little extra time on this one.
I think we need to know, like, I guess for me, we need to know how many people he travels with, well, what his like security detail is, and some of his vices, the things that he likes.
Fancy
Well, no
lads.
fancy lads.
Fancy lads, but does he like a certain beverage or
I think
cards?
I-
we
we
just
know
need
he
to find a
gambles.
fancy lad.
Yeah.
Or make one of you into
Logan.
fancy lads.
I guess that's fair. I'm sure Jemma could manipulate her appearance to look like a fancy lad. Or just dress up Logan.
Yeah. I mean, I think Logan is deciding between either trying to go into Crow's Foot himself and find Rorik, because Logan's good at studying people, but that does mean needing to have the person to study, or just going in like finding as many fancy lads as he can and trying to get a sense of, are you Rorik's type?
We might want to stick with a fancy lad within the party, just so we can
The
control the
hunt
situation.
for the fanciest
No,
lad.
but
Fanciest lad.
find out who, so that we can then like supplant them and just be like, here's, again, don't know enough about currency, but if we spent like our other coin to be like, hey, you take the night off, and then have Logan pretend to be the fancy lad instead.
Full of beef vendetta, I like it.
But that requires us finding out what kind of fancy lad Rorik likes first.
Or if he has a particular fancy lad that he likes to
Yeah.
visit regularly.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically we need to know how we can get him alone or how we can take him by surprise quickly. Because, yeah, as far as the fighting mechanics go, we don't want to draw this out.
I can also attune. I could ask the ghosts, maybe. Or no, doesn't the city have like an electric fence to keep the ghosts out?
Yeah, it's not perfect.
Mhm.
But that's part of what the lightning towers are for. Is to keep
Yeah.
the ghosts out in the Deadlands, not in
Yeah.
here with us.
I
But
was
it's there.
thinking, because Bron's not going to want to go back to Crow's Foot at this point. He's probably going to scout out the location that the event's going to be at.
That's a good plan.
Do we want Jemma to go meet with the red stashes?
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Might just be a line on the next job at the very least.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Good to get in with people.
Sure.
Okay, so then maybe if Bron is going to Silkshore to scout things out there, maybe Logan will take a chance in Crow's Foot. Because we heard from Cross that he likes to gamble, maybe. Would any of that be happening in Crow's Foot, or is that all in like Silkshore, because that's the entertainment district?
Some of it could be happening in Crowsfoot. That would be, I mean, since that's kind of where they're based, that would be a little more underground, a little more of like seedy, type of
Bron's vice
stuff.
is gambling. Would Bron have any insight into where somebody like Rourke might go to gamble?
Probably. I mean, I guess it depends on what sort of establishment you would look for, because I mean, you know that he has a decent amount of money.
Yeah. Because Bron doesn't, so Bron typically bets on fights. But I would imagine if he has more money, he's probably looking at like some sort of like casino hall, like some like cards and or betting on like races or something like that.
I mean, there's not really the space for like races and stuff, but like probably, I would assume Silkshore probably has
Well,
like a gambling hall.
Dog races were an option that I could have picked from. That I did not pick from because I rather watch people fight than dogs race.
Can we not bring can we bet on people races? I don't want to bring dog races into it.
No, that's why I want people fighting.
People fights.
People fights.
People fights are mostly happening in like the docks.
It's like Dunslow is the one that
Nope.
that Bron has the specific connection to.
Yeah.
Just still thinking about people races. It's like you have runners, but you also have jockeys on the runners.
People races.
Chicken races, like people on people races.
Basically.
Yeah.
And like the riders
a
can
thing.
shove each other and all that.
Amazing.
That's great, and it's gonna come up later. Yeah, I mean, there are fighting pits that people go to bet on. Silkshore has at least one gambling hall. And then over in like the very rich people area, they probably have like a casino or something like that, but I don't know that he'd make his way over there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if there's some sort of like gambling establishment in Crow's Foot that Bron would know of, then Bron would tell Logan.
yeah, it'd be underground, it'd be seedy, but they're there for sure.
Okay. Well, gives a couple of names.
Sure. I don't know what they would be called. They probably don't have names, honestly.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have some of the more recent passwords to get in.
Oh, Bron's
Assuming
probably
they're
never
that kind
been
of
to these
place.
places.
Okay.
Bron doesn't have the money to go to these places.
Right.
Just knows of them, probably.
Okay. Okay. Because I think, well, I was gonna say, Logan would have a story of like, looking for investors for a product, but I have nothing in Sway, so I don't know that I can lie by the rules of the game.
You can. Yeah, you can make a roll even if you don't have dice, but it's pretty bad circumstances.
Yeah.
It is. What did I do with the handout? If you ever have 0 or negative dice, you roll 2 dice and take the lowest result.
Right.
But you can. The game is just like, you're bad at it, so good
Yep.
luck.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think that is gonna be Logan's plan of attack, is going in and being like, looking to, you know, get investors, create a product, because he's had to do that before legitimately, and so now it's just looking for a seedier clientele, perhaps.
Okay. So Logan's gonna head over to Crow's Foot. Bron, you're gonna head over to Silkshore and scope out the park. Jemma is going to go to Trissa's shop to meet with the Red Sashes. Barbara.
Barbara might stop Bron before he leaves. They think it's gonna be rough. The performances in the park. Maybe you scope and I can ask around. See if they need extra security.
Sounds fair to me.
All right. I won't talk to you. You can do your thing.
Wonderful. We're on the same page.
Okay. So Barbara and
She
Bron-
starts then and just stops talking.
Barbara stops talking, and she and Bron head over to Silkshore together. So that's going to be the next leg of our preparation phase. It's a little early, but I'm kind of hesitant to like get into anything else since we have our like post-game stuff to do also, because we have to do it for players and for your crew, and I have to allot time for that, and I don't know how much time to allot for that. So maybe we'll stop there and get into some of that stuff and talk a little bit.
Cool.
So we don't have to like split everything up. We can do the rest of the preparation phase next week and then get into the job.
Cool.
Okay. That's a little bit of Blades in the Dark, you guys. It's actually not super complicated. Once you get into it, I'm enjoying diving into it. So, PC advancement. So we already talked about the desperate action, which only one of you did. And then everybody's got XP triggers on your sheet. So the way this works is for each one that you triggered, you would mark 1 XP if it happened, period, or 2 XP if it happened a lot. And we kind of saw what that is. So the first one is, and I don't know what these are. I want to go around and hear what these are, though, because I think they're fun. So everybody has a playbook-specific XP trigger. Well, the example it gives on here is the cutters. But yeah, let's start with Sid. Go around.
Okay.
You can share what these are, because I think they're fun.
Mm-hmm. You address a challenge with either violence or coercion. Coercion. There we go. I can say
I like
words.
corrosion as an
Corrosion.
idea.
I
think that's
threw
more of the
acid at
leech.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, so and for this, addressing a challenge specifically is you just have to attempt to overcome. I cannot read. Overtempt. You have to
We are
overattempt.
so good at words, y'all. We're so good at words.
Listen, nobody told me I was gonna have to read to do this. So it's just attempting to overcome an obstacle or a threat. It doesn't have to be successful. You just have to try to do it. Is what those means, which I think you did. You
Yeah,
are.
some coercion. There's a little bit of coercion in there.
Yeah. So I'd mark an XP.
Okay.
Let's Gemma's.
Every time you roll, every time when you play a slide, you earn XP when you address a challenge with deception or influence.
Which I think you attempted to do.
I think I did.
Yeah, so that'd be an XP. Bron, what's the...
You addressed a challenge with tracking or violence.
You tried to do.
Which I tried to do.
You did. Some of you didn't go. It didn't go so well. And then what's the leeches?
You address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem.
Or mayhem. We're getting prepared too.
Yeah.
Prepare for mayhem.
Did not do any rolls, so I don't know that I can mark anything
Not
this time.
today. But there are other ones, so that would be one. And then the second one is you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. And those at any point you guys can like change up and stuff to either be more in line with the game, or if you're making some character choices and things change, that kind of thing. But so you can mark an XP if you feel like you did any of that, played into any of that. It's kind of up to you to decide.
Would drives be like our vices?
It's really anything that your vice can be part of it. It's really just sort of your character's main, like, why they're doing this job kind of thing. Yeah, if you feel like you played into that. Or not. It's the first session. It's hard to do that. First time out. And then if you struggled with issues from your vice or your trauma, we haven't got to vices yet, and I don't think anybody has any trauma yet.
At least not mechanically speaking.
I was gonna say.
Emotionally, yes. But yes, this is like if your vice tempted you to some bad action, or if a trauma condition caused you trouble, simply indulging in your vice doesn't count as struggling unless you overindulge, and then it causes problems. So we'll get into that. And these XP, the end of session XP, you can either mark them on your playbook XP or for an attribute, wherever you want to put them. The only one that is specific is when you make a desperate action roll, it has to go with the attribute that you rolled with, but you can put that XP anywhere you want. I'm assuming nobody advanced because it takes a little bit. Okay, and then we have to do the crew advancement. So somebody wanna be in charge of marking the crew sheet?
I can do it this time.
Okay. So for the crew advancement, review the crew XP triggers. This is the same. 1 XP if it happened, multiple XP, or 2 XP if it occurred multiple times or in a major way. So what is the assassin's crew specific trigger?
Execute a successful accident, disappearance, murder, or ransom operation.
Not yet.
Nope.
Nah.
We'll get there. Let's see, what else can you mark XP for? Contend with challenges above your current station. If you tangled with higher tiers or more dangerous opposition, mark XP.
I mean, what did Duster count as?
What tier are they? Higher than 0. Higher than 0. So are the red sashes. So I think you guys tangled with them a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to give us 2 then.
Yeah, because both of you. Okay. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. But we didn't really haven't really got into reputation yet.
No.
But you will. Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. The book says, this one is very broad. You're right, Blaze in the Dark. Sure is. Essentially, did anything happen that highlighted these specific elements that make your crew unique?
I mean, we were all super awkward the entire
my
time.
The fact that we don't like each
I'm
other.
very uncomfortable with the energy we created in the studio today.
It's growing pains. They're figuring each other out,
I think it came through in a really big way, though, a couple of times.
A couple of times enough to mark it twice
Yeah,
for
sure.
the inner conflict.
It it really was like 2.5 hours of me going, oh my god.
Of
Mhm.
palpable
People are never going to speak to each
awkwardness.
other again. Let's see. And then that's it. You fill your advancement tracker, ability. Each time you advance, you get stuff, but you haven't advanced yet. So yeah.
But we're
So, yeah.
almost halfway there.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, you get new stuff and shit when you advance. It's really cool. So yeah, and some of that will expand out a little bit more once you kind of get into things and we get a little bit more into these characters and kind of know more like what's driving them. Really after this first like job, this is essentially like the tutorial mission that you have to do. Yeah, I think that's everything we have to do at the end of the game. We can do stars and wishes though, because I like doing those. And I gotta make up. I didn't make a page in my notes for them.
That's okay.
I can just have them. Let's do stars and wishes, because we all know how to do this. Who wants to go first? Tell me your stars and wishes and where we can find you on the internet and all that good stuff.
I can go first. We can go down the line. Hi, I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on Twitter at Greek Sid. I'm here a couple nights a week. I'm here on Sundays. I will be back here on Mondays shortly, but right now you can find me on Mondays over on twitch.tv/InfiniteRP, where we're playing Flames of Freedom. It's the American Revolutionary War plus Eldritch Horror. It's pretty great. I'm also on Wednesdays over on twitch.tv/Critical Misses playing some good society. It's queer society. Wowie, have we already completely dissolved all of our livelihoods and lives, and it's only been like 2 sessions. It's been great. Yeah, both of those are at 8 o'clock Eastern. And on Thursdays, I run our Urban Shadows game. It's been a lot of fun so far. We will get a smooch eventually. Yeah, and you can see me on here a couple other times once we get other stuff running. My star today goes to LB, who just like completely fell into character from the word go. Well done. I know exactly who Jemma is. I love it. Amazing, as usual. My wish is to get over this awkwardness as quickly as possible. I feel like we will. We're just such good role players, y'all, that we're not just gonna jump on in for no reason. We have to actually, develop relationships amongst this crew. So if anything, this immense, palpable awkwardness is a really good thing when you look at it the right way. If you squint a little. Anyway, no, it was fucking amazing. So, but yeah, I hope we do, and we get to see all the fun group dynamics. It'll be great.
It's gonna be great. Just a bunch of people who don't want to talk to each other being forced to talk to each other is very excellent.
It's like my day-to-day life in general. No, I'm kidding. Mostly. But yeah.
We never talk to each other.
Ever. No.
We only talk to each other because chat forces us to.
Exactly.
Who wants to go next? I'll stop bullying everybody.
I will go. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm some guy on the internets on GGK Tuesdays, Thursdays, sometimes Saturdays, and now Sundays. And also on Sundays over at LB's channel in the evenings, doing masks over there, where it is also palpably awkward. Savvy and I are going on a date tonight, and that's gonna be a grand old time. Let's see. For today's game here, I think my star is going to go to Val for the improv for trying to get out of getting caught. And it almost sort of kind of worked, except they were absolutely onto you. But if they hadn't been so onto you, maybe it would have worked. And then you managed to get away clean.
Val literally pulled a "look over there" and ran.
Yeah.
That made me so happy today.
And then my wish. I mean, I kind of have two. One is just to actually have a chance to have Logan and Spice do some things next time, which is fine. He's a prepper, so it made sense what he was doing this time. But I do also want to see what Jemma is able to get out of this tattoo parlor job encounter thing. See if maybe we can somehow maneuver the red sashes again more against the crows in this score.
Who's next?
I'll go. I'm LB Hackemup. You can find me at LB Hackemup on the Twitters and the Twitches. Like Alex said, we're playing after this. We're playing our Masks game at 8:30 p.m. EST. And as I was prepping for today, I was like, is this date going to take the whole time? The answer is probably yes. So get ready for the awkwardness there. And then just check my Twitter for the rest of the stuff. My star for the evening is... Boy, I think it's gonna have to go to Sid because she played off of the yes ands are always great from her, and playing off of the relationship, having like talked about it but not actually expressed it in person is really nice to have just like it be what it is and not have to like think about it too much. So I'm excited for that moving forward. My wish is to have those little moments between characters, like as we continue on with things, like having like the connections, the little connections that characters have with each other, and how they become friends and what they're why they are friends and what in certain ways. So that's what I'm looking forward to too. And murder.
I guess it's me. Hi.
It's you.
I'm Val. You can find me here Thursdays through Mondays, playing and running games. Went over all at the beginning. Check our schedule. Things are a little bit up in the air and changing around, but we'll have announcements and stuff throughout the week. I think there's some new stuff coming up and changing. Stars and wishes. Star, I think, is also going to go to Sid because Barbara respected Bron's boundaries. You don't want me to talk? No, I don't? Okay, I'll be quiet. It was beautiful. I think half that star has to go to Jemma for setting that up throughout the entire time, by being basically the opposite of Bron in every way. And my wish is more screen time for Helsing, and that will be my wish, I think, every week.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
He's the goodest boy.
Because all I can do is make fake animals and then make those fake animals more important to me than my actual characters.
All right. And I'm Savvy. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on the internets. Check my Twitter. I tweet and retweet when we're going live, either here or over on LB's channel Sunday nights. Anybody have anything else before we go?
Your stars and wishes.
I don't do them as a GM. You guys know this.
Oh, okay.
Because
I have not played in a game run by
everyone
you in
else
very
knows
long.
this. I don't do them as a GM. It gives me anxiety. I let you guys congratulate each other. And then every time I say, everybody did an amazing job for all those reasons. Excellent role playing, excellent picking up the mechanics. I'm excited to get into more of them. So we'll start next time with the rest of our preparation. We'll probably start with Logan because I think how that goes is probably going to dictate kind of how everything else goes. So we'll start there, and then we'll get into Baby's first job. So exciting. So yeah, join us next week, same time, same place for the next episode of Doskvol's Dead. Until then, check our Twitter. We will let you know when we will be going live, and keep an eye out for announcements for several new shows that are coming down the pike. Some announced, some not. So yeah, keep an eye out on Twitter, join our Discord, all of that good stuff. But we will see you next time for more Blades in the Dark. But until then, good game and good night, Internet.